Men are now coming forward with reports of domestic violence acts committed against them. In the past, mostly females reported the offense. That's according to Detective Constable Damian Frank, an officer attached to the Special Victims Unit, the SVU. The officer was guest on GBN's To The Point program Thursday. He clarified domestic violence as any controlling or abusive behavior that harms the health, safety, or well-being of an individual, be it an adult or child, and include, but is not limited to, physical abuse or threats of physical abuse, sexual abuse or threats of such abuse, emotional, verbal, or psychological abuse. The officer said, like any other form of crime, the unit is placing emphasis on stamping out the scourge.
The times is women.
The woman.
Yes, most of the times it's women. We have seen, and I must say that we have seen some men come into our unit and report being victims of domestic violence, and I applaud those men, because at the end of the day, GT, sometimes we hear persons saying that, oh boy, you as a big man, you're going to the police and make a complaint saying that your wife saying things, and you think it's laughable, but that's not laughable. At the end of the day, their life is very much important, just as being, so it's not based on gender.
Detective Constable Frank explained that partners ought to be mindful of the words they use to relate to their partners, as it can be interpreted in the wrong context and in turn constitute to an act of domestic violence. The most common type of domestic violence in Grenada, he said, is physical abuse.
Economic abuse, intimidation, harassment, stalking, damage to property, entry to the applicant's residence without consent where the parties do not share the same residence. So all these, most of the times, well, not most of the time, but as you said, they fall under the criminal offense, right? So of course, for the physical abuse, you can have somebody being charged for causing harm, wounding, right? Sexual abuse, you may have somebody being charged for indecent assault, right? Intimidation, harassment, based on may follow up on some words of insult or anything like that afterwards, yeah? The most common type of abuse I would say that we are seeing being reported at the Special Victims Unit, I would say, is physical abuse.
The early warning signs of abusive behavior include putting their partner down, dominating conversations, checking up excessively, acting as if they own their partner, and lying to make themselves look good. He explained that persons can apply for any order of protection should they feel that their life is endangered.
A protection order or a restraining order is an order used by the court to protect persons who are victims of domestic violence. A person may be entitled to apply for a protection order on the grounds that the respondent, which is the accused, engaged in domestic violence. An application for a protection order may be by the spouse of the respondent, a member of a shared household, either on his or her own behalf or on behalf of any other member of the household. And of course, after that protection order is granted, the maximum is 3 years. So within that 3 years, once you as the victim undergoes any form of intimidation, stalking, any use of physical abuse, threatening language, insulting language, that person breached the order. And as I said earlier on, the term can be $500 or to both $500 or 5 years in prison.
Detective Constable Frank explained that individuals who are in an abusive situation can seek help from the Special Victims Unit, Probation Unit, the Child Protection Authority, and the Ministry of Social and Community Development, which will provide counseling. Christina John, GBN News.